Welcome to the Awesomers.com podcast. If you love to learn, and if you're motivated to expand your mind, and heck, if you desire to break through those traditional paradigms and find your own version of success, you are in the right place. Awesomers around the world are on a journey to improve their lives and the lives of those around them. We believe in paying it forward, and we fundamentally try to live up to the great Zig Ziglar quote, where he said, "You can have everything in your life you want if you help enough other people get what they want." It doesn't matter where you came from, it only matters where you're going. My name is Steve Simonson, and I hope you will join me on this awesomer journey.
If you're launching a new product manufactured in China, you will need professional, high-resolution, Amazon-ready photographs. Because Simo Global has a team of professionals in China, you will oftentimes receive your listings photographs before your product even leaves the country. This streamlined process will save you the time, money, and energy needed to concentrate on marketing and other creative content strategies before your item is in stock and ready for sale. Visit simoglobal.com to learn more, because a picture should be worth 1,000 keywords.
You are listening to episode number 94 in the Awesomers.com podcast series. That's a lot of episodes, I have to tell you. I'm very impressed with my own output. So you guys can take that right to the bank. I'm impressed with myself. I agree with me. Today is part 2 in our 3-part series with Achilleas Daskalakis. And again, with being that this is episode number 94 of our Awesomers series, you just go to awesomers.com/94 to see today's show notes and details. Now, part 1 yesterday, you would have heard Achilles lay out some of his origin story, and today we're going to get into more of those details and more about that journey to help you understand the evolution that it takes for somebody, even so young, to get through and to develop businesses and ideas and principles and so forth. And the concept here is that every experience, every part of somebody's journey, and Achilles is no exception, and I also no exception, every little part of the journey is a building block on that foundation towards future success. And so no matter how positive or negative each experience was, or did we maximize it or not, they're all building blocks. And I don't want people to miss that point, that whatever you're doing today is a building block for your future. And as I always like to say in the intro, and you just heard it a moment ago, it doesn't matter where you came from, it only matters where you're going. And because where you came from helped lay all those foundational stones, where you're going could be really anywhere. The sky is the limit. And so I want you to, break your own paradigms of normal, take inspiration from Achilles, and let's get into listening to today's episode right now. Okay, we're back again, everybody. Steve Simonson joined by Achilleas Daskalakis.
Exactly.
Okay, well, there you go. Not bad. Achilles, at the origin stories, I like to get right back to the root of everything, which is where you were born. Share that with us, if you will, please.
So yeah, I was born in Athens, Greece, so I never left.
Pretty famous. Well, that's where all the great Achilles come from, so that makes sense. What about your parents? Were they entrepreneurial? What kind of work did they do?
So that's a very interesting thing. So my grandfather had some factories. He was, I don't know how you call this. They make desserts. I don't know what's the...
I don't know if there's a name for, in English, it probably is, but a factory that makes desserts. That's an interesting factory.
Not exactly. His profession was that he was making desserts and stuff. So he had some factories here in Greece.
Oh, like a dessert chef or something.
Yeah, let's call it like that. But back in the day, the Greeks were not calling chefs. Anyway.
Of course.
Yeah. So he was an entrepreneur in a way, but he was a real slave of his work. So when my father was, growing, he said that I will never do that in my life. I will never be a slave in a way. So my grandfather was working, let's say in Christmas, he was working straight 2 weeks. He never got home. He never seen his children. He was like fully organized to the work. So my father said, I'm never going to be like that. I'm going to be someone who is working for someone else. So in a way, my grandfather screwed up the business for some reasons. Anyway, that's a very sad story. So my father said, look, Achilles, we are not entrepreneurs. We are workers. We are the best to work for someone else, but we cannot work for our own. The problem with me is that I have a high temper. So
It's
I
shocking.
don't like someone else to not telling me what to do. I can follow and comprehend a lot, but I don't like some orders that are stupid.
So
In
what
my eye.
age was this that your dad was telling you this? Because it's obviously the very opposite of what turned out. So there's probably some rebellious youth in
Yeah.
you. What age was this dictum given to you?
It was from the age of 12 till the age of 18.
Oh, well, perfect rebellious time. So that was almost guaranteeing that you would be an entrepreneur, basically.
Yeah, in a way, yeah, because I started like I was working as a waiter or something, to have some extra money, and I always pitch to the guy that has the the restaurant. Something was like, what I'm gonna do in my life is that I'm gonna open a restaurant like you. So that's why I need to work in all the in the whole idea of it. So my father again and again was like, no, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna be a slave. You don't want that in your life. So my father was working for MetLife insurance company. So he was a VP of sales and stuff. So he was very happy with his life. And he knew how to be a worker, an employee, a very good employee in a way. My mother was working back in the day in some shipping companies. Here in Greece, we have a lot of shipping companies and stuff.
Uh-huh.
It's a very
Sure,
big.
sure. A lot of shipping.
Yeah. And when she gave birth to me, she stopped working. So the idea for me was like, okay, I'm going to finish the university. I'm going to go for a master's degree, and then I'm going to go to the company that my dad is working. So my life was in a road, in a way. This is what are you going to do? But no, that's not for me. I was like, no, I cannot wake up early in the morning. So we met together in UK, all right? If you remember my face in the morning, it was probably, yeah, that's the worst for me.
So because we would have early morning call time. So Achilles joined us for a Catalyst 88 UK event. So catalyst88.com mastermind. And we had a UK event and we start early. Like I think we serve breakfast usually at like 7:30, or we encourage people to eat breakfast 7:30 to 8:30 or something. And then we get going right away. So you were always tired, huh?
Yeah, I was so tired. And, we got so many information. It was great. But for me, if this all started at 12, I would be great. Yes.
Yeah. So your preference is it goes maybe from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. instead of from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's there is actually some, at least in my experience, like if I go to Portugal, if I look out, I remember staying on the beach one time in Portugal, and at 10 p.m. the beach was kind of busy, the boardwalk was kind of busy, but at midnight it was packed.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening here? Why and there's people with their kids and they're walking. It's midnight on a school night, but they just their practice of naps and this and that made a completely different experience. Yeah. So you may come by that honestly. So anyway, so you didn't like to get up early, so maybe that was a problem for MetLife, huh?
Yeah, it was a problem for MetLife, I think. So I did an internship there. People say that I was really good. I don't know if because of my father or if it was the truth. I think it was the truth. So I did a sales internship. I love sales. I like this. I like to have the interaction. And that's a very good thing that I have with Konstantin. He hates sales. I love sales. I hate the back office. He loves the back office. So that's great connection with him. So the idea for me was like, because you said the origin, I finished school and then I went and studied economics. So my first degree is economics. I don't even know anything about accounting. Trust me, I know nothing. I'm the worst. That's why in everything, my motto is in everything you should let the people that know how to do it. That's the most important part. Let me do the sales thing. Do whatever you want in the other parts. And then after that, it was like again the thing of like my father. Oh, come on, go do a master's. It's gonna be easy. Do it like that. So it was easy for you to finish the economics. So doing my master's in the Netherlands, it was great. It was strategy innovation in the Netherlands. Innovation is very huge. It was probably the most difficult year of my life. I was studying, I don't know, 13 hours per day. Yes. And I really saw that although I did it and I had like some publications and I was pretty good, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to be that guy. Never in my life. So we actually said with Konstantin that we have to do this thing with Sarisap, our company, because if we don't do it, we're gonna end up like don't really like what we do every day. And trust me, I have some gray hair, although I'm 27, because yeah, you're anxious. If you have your own company, you're anxious. I'm an anxious person in general, but trust me, I wouldn't change for the world what I'm having, even if I have to to work 20 hours per day. These are fun hours for me. The last thing I do and the first thing I do is I'm checking Amazon before I go to sleep. When I wake up.
Well, I think you make a very important point, and I want to make sure the Osprey's at home really stew on this point for a minute. This idea, your grandfather's a great example of, in that generation, right? They would build stuff and they would just work themselves to death because that's what their mission was. That I have to provide, I have to make stuff happen, and they would just put all the responsibility on their shoulders. And to use an old, I think it's a Greek legend about Sisyphus pushing a rock up a hill, right? And that's what they thought they had to do, is just push a rock up a hill. And by the way, the hill never ends. The rock gets bigger and the hill never ends. And that's the generation that they came from. And so your dad, he's like, I'm not doing that, because I'm sure your dad felt, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but probably not an ideal father-son experience if your dad's always gone, right?
Yeah, but that's the truth. They never saw that in their house.
It's a very reasonable thing to say. The son says, well, I'm not going to do that because I saw what my dad did. And by the way, that's a good lesson to take away, to say, I want to be a better dad than my dad, right? I think every generation should put that in their mind. But the point that you got to is, you and Constantine basically said, we're going to engineer the lifestyle that we want to live. And we're going to put a business around that lifestyle instead of the lifestyle around the business. And exactly. I think that's an important point, that, we live in such an extraordinary time where we can dictate and mandate what we really want in our life, and then we can engineer the outcome. And I know that, there's people listening, and they've been, maybe they've been stuck in that cubicle or that 9-to-5 job, and they say, well, I don't understand e-commerce, or I don't understand Amazon, or I don't understand what you guys are talking about. So it's inspiring and I like the sound of it, but it doesn't apply to me. But I would say anybody who's willing to work hard, and this is another point you made, I think, very well, Achilles, you're thrilled, or at least willing to work the 20 hours if you need to maintain the freedom and the flexibility elsewhere. And it's not 20 hours forever, otherwise you turn into your grandfather. It's 20 hours in bursts, and you do what is necessary in bursts so that you can have those off times and relaxing times and flexible times. That's true freedom, and I respect that. And I've lived that life for these many 30 years in business for myself. So I get it.
I've got great news, everybody. We're going to take a quick sponsor break so you can learn about an amazing resource that is a supporter of this show.
Empower. The name says it all. Connecting e-commerce entrepreneurs with great people, ideas, systems, and the services needed to stay business dynamic and to grow. Empowery is a network, a cooperative venture of tools and resources to make you better at what you do, because we love what you do. We are you. Visit empowery.com to learn more.
So I really like this idea. So from the point you were getting your master's, did you ever have, besides that internship, any quote unquote proper job outside of your own company?
No. Never.
So you're highly educated. So that's one thing you have different than me. But I also, from 18 on, I never really had a proper job from the point I dropped out of high school. My last proper job was a janitor in high school. Although in fairness, when I came out of in college, actually, I was a janitor in college. I came out of that experience, and some guys put me to work as their secretary, which lasted a year or so. But within 6 months, I partnered with one of the guys, and we bought a janitorial company. So even as I was a secretary, and even though that's probably not a true context. One time in Steve's story time, I'll tell you guys a story about that. But the point is, even while I was 18, I bought my first company, which was a janitorial company. So like you, I wanted to just find out whatever I could do to follow the dream. So.
Yeah, but that's the idea of living, right? I'm not here like I've seen in my life that life is not forever. Like life is small, so you may wake up in a day and you're not happy anymore, or you may be depressed, or some people that you love may not be here. Come on, we only live once in a way, right? So even if I'm not judging, if you want to work 9 to 5 and you like this is what you need to do. It's not everybody to be an entrepreneur or an Amazon seller or an e-commerce. Come on, it's not like that. But if you want to do this and you're afraid, sorry to say that, it's not good to say, but you're stupid. No, everybody can do that. So another thing, I put my sister on Amazon. This week, their products are coming to US. The thing is that she is a mother of 2. She's 35. And she was like, oh, I'm going to go back, start working right now. And I'm like, no, don't work. Don't go work for someone else to pay you in Greece like $600. It's stupid. We're going to do together the Amazon thing. And if it doesn't work, you just try it. You were an entrepreneur for like 1 year. I know that's going to work because I know how to do it. Is one thing, I know how to do this, so I know it's for sure going to work. And I know that she's going to have a way better lifestyle right now because you want, to raise your kids and not just to work for 9 to 5 in, I don't know, 5 days a week.
I think this is an important point because it doesn't matter, like in the story of your father and grandfather or the story of your sister, mothers have the same desire to be with their kids and see their kids and be a part of their lives in whatever way is possible. And that doesn't mean that it's all perfect, right? As I always remind people that rainbows and unicorns, they show up from time to time, but it's not always rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like hard work and it's like, sorry, son or daughter, I'm really busy right now. I can't do whatever you're asking me to do. I got to focus. But there's so many other times that you get the benefits of being an entrepreneur and having that flexibility and that freedom that it is in fact worth it. So I love that. I appreciate the fact that you do, kind of the family affair stuff, right? You kind of help the family out. It's a good thing. So let me ask you this: from the time that, from that internship and then the master's and then you and Constantine, starting up your own harebrained scheme, was there a defining moment between then and now that really, helped set you on your path that you're on today?
Yeah, I think that the first paycheck we had from our company, it was, let me say another thing because I didn't say the whole truth. When I came back from the master's, I also applied for a job in a well-known company. I don't remember the name. It is for alcohol and stuff. Very, very big company. I don't remember the name now. So the thing is that I passed the first interview. I passed the second. I passed the video interview. And then they had, the thing that you are gathering everybody together, workshop. So the workshop was like in 2 weeks from now. So they are calling me 2 days before the workshop. It was the day that we got our first paycheck in a way from the company. It wasn't even a company back then. This is a tax fraud, but anyway, yeah.
We'll bleep that out. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, but in a way, we saw some money. So the guys are calling me and they say, so are you going to come the day after? And I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to come, to the workshop. It's like, like you passed the interviews. Not a lot of people are going to be there. It's going to be a huge opportunity for you to go to this company. Diageo is the name, Diageo. So I'm like, you know what? That's exactly the tone I used. You know what? I think I'm building something that is good. I think I'm going to have a life that I want. I'm not going to work for someone else. And I think it's going to be great. I'm pretty sure it's going to be great. So the secretary in the phone was like, but come on, think about it again. Okay, it's good to have your own company, but in 1 year from now, you may say I lost an opportunity. I just paused for like 1 minute and then I said, no, I'm not going to come. I'm not going to come to this work. I went up, I said that to my mom. My mom was like, "You're stupid." So,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure that your mom or would have a different opinion about that decision, but I see that where your stupid comes from.
yeah. But the thing is that my father, because I believe that he's gonna be more like, "Oh, come on," he said, like, "If you believe in that, do it." And I said, I truly believe that. So after that, I built a real company, started working for the first 2 years, 1.5 years. We were working 365, even in holidays, and doing customer support for clients ourselves. That's, trust me, very difficult to do. For 500 days, I didn't have a day off, answering emails the whole time. Until one point, we said that we're going to hire someone else, because you don't need to make more money in a way. You need to improve your lifestyle. Best day of my life when I hired a guy to actually help with customer support. From that day, I'm happy. I'm very happy with what I do. Before that, I was happy in a way, but I was doing a lot of slavery, blah, 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 answering everything, and I wanted to be very fast in answering emails and stuff. But when you put some SOPs in place, when you have some people in their exact positions, and you can actually manage, in a way, the whole thing, this is a business, and this is the time that you actually see that what I did actually paid off. I don't know if that's a...
Yeah, that's quite right. So first of all, that's a couple defining moments. Thank you for sharing those. This idea that, I'm not going to that interview or that workshop after all. I've already been through the interview process. I'm going to get the job, but I'm not going because what I'm doing is interesting. And then the second piece of that is this idea that, you decided to hire somebody. And by the way, I've done that kind of 2-year run or nearly 2-year run with no days off. On the weekdays I would work at one of my stores, and that was kind of the regular thing. And then I would go either work at another store on the weekend, and even on Sundays I would bring trucks and sell rugs or whatever I had to do. Every day I would work. And for me, I even had employees at the time, but I was still a nut. Yeah. So in hindsight, for you, would you have tried to hire that person earlier, or do you think that it just took you that much experience to be able to set the SOPs into place? Or what would you do differently, if anything, based on that moment of happiness from being able to bring somebody in and help you gain a little bit of life?
What would I do differently? For sure is that I would have started selling on Amazon my own brand way before.
Yeah,
that's one thing that I would do for sure. Okay, I never regret for anything except one night in my life that I got really drunk. But
we're coming to the nights we regret section soon. Don't worry, we'll dive into that.
Count me in. Yeah, but the thing is that in business, no, I never regret. I learned everything. For everything that I did wrong, I'm sure that I learned a lot. I'm not bankrupt, thank God. I have 5 businesses today. It's going well for me. I'm not getting tired out of it. I'm 27. I'm not going to get tired. I'm happy. Yeah, if you ask me if I would have hired someone else faster, I needed to go to the phase that I was like, I'm fed up. Probably I needed to do it. Yeah, maybe 1 month less. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. So that the premise here is that, a want needs to become a need, right? Until a want transitions to a need, things don't actually happen. And
exactly.
One of the things that I see, especially with newer entrepreneurs, I've been doing this so long that I've been doing this longer than you've been alive, as it turns out. So as an example of time, that a lot of times I see people, especially the with less experience, that they push themselves and they punish themselves harder than they need to early on. Now, I'll tell you, along with hiring comes hiring mistakes, and that's just part of the process of learning and so forth. But I really want people to think about that lifestyle balance. And Jeff Bezos uses this common terminology of harmony, not balance. So balance implies that, we're going to do half job and half, life. So at 5, I got to run home and sit down to dinner with the kids and the family and the whatever. And that's kind of that's the balance perspective. The harmony perspective is, hey, maybe today I'm working 12 hours, but for the next 3 days we're going on a holiday, or we're going on a weekend trip together, or whatever the case may be. This harmony is where your life is not destroyed by your job or your business, and your job or your business is not neglected because you're having this wild free lifestyle, right? Because they really do have to maintain harmony. So I subscribe to that. What do you think about Jeff Bezos' comments there? Do you think he's right?
What is very common, so here in Greece, in general, since back in the day we didn't have a lot of money. Sometime we have prosperity. 2004 Olympic Games, everything was going up. After that, again, everything is going down like that. But
that's a cliff. It just jumped off the cliff. Yeah.
The thing is that a lot of Greek people are going to live, let's say, in Germany. So their whole life, the whole year, they are working just to get 1 month in Greece. Every person that I know here are working every day 9 to 5, waiting for the weekend. Come on, man. You're living out 5 days. You want to live only 2. No. That's not happening with me. You have to live every day, everything. Even if it's difficult, even if you need to do construction work, which is difficult in a way. No, be happy. If you're not happy, do something else. I'm like 27 if I don't do anything else. No, I'm not talking about just age. People in like 50s, 60s, 70s, they start now being entrepreneurs. That's great. My father got like he's retired in a way now, and he's asking me every day to start selling on Amazon and do e-commerce and stuff. Because he saw what I'm doing. I went to China. Now next week I'm going to Florida. He likes these things. So he says like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the best. So for me, this is it. You cannot stop. You cannot say like, oh, I'm going to work 5 days like that. I'm going to make a lot of money. And in a weekend, I'm going to go, hiking. I'm going to go to buy the most expensive thing. Come on, man. You cannot buy happiness. It's not like that.
Yeah, I think that's really, really good wisdom there. And just to cap on some of your points. So there's this premise, especially when they see somebody who's farther along, you're successful, you've got a number of businesses operating. I'm right now I'm in Vegas. This is the hotel room in the Paris casino. And I'm down here for some conferences. Last week I was at some other conferences in Austin. And the week before that I was at some conferences in San Francisco. So sometimes people are like, wow, you're always traveling, you get to do this and that. But, first of all, there's a lot of work that goes into it. And none of these are actually like vacations.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate because in every city that I go to, there's entrepreneurs that I know and friends that I can hang out with, and we talk business. And so that's really fun for me. But there's an equal part of, kind of making something work. Those are the inputs. And then the outputs of, either freedom lifestyle or my choice to choose where I want to be to, get the job done. Like, here I am, we're doing the podcast. I committed to the Awesomers community 180 episodes in a row, dropping every day, which I'm going to say that that was a big promise, and I struggled to keep up with it. This has been the most invasive thing in my life in terms of my time. I'm not going to lie, but it is a labor of love, and it's something that I have to fulfill the commitment. So no matter where I am, I have to fulfill the commitment, and that's part of that flexibility and freedom. So I agree with you that if somebody's not happy in what they're doing, they should try to make a change. And I think it's the old Albert Einstein quote where he says something like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Yet all of us, and by the way, this applies to anybody working, 9 to 5 cubicle gig, or entrepreneurs who are struggling in their business, or even who are successful in their business. There's always little tweaks that you can make without making those changes. And humans are wired to resist change. Without making a change, you shouldn't expect a different result. It's just not logical. What's your thoughts?
For sure. Steve, I'm just watching you like I'm following the podcast. I'm like, oh, what he says.
Well, good. It's nice to have another listener, honestly. So that's good stuff. So let me ask you this, Achilles. Actually, we're going to take a quick break, and I want you to think about this as we go to break.
Yeah.
I want to figure out what a big lesson from all of your business experience so far, maybe a big lesson you could share with Awesomers that has been learned from your journey. We're going to do it right after this break. We'll be right back.
Hey Amazon Marketplace professionals, this is Parsimony ERP, and we get one question over and over. Can you please tell me exactly what Parsimony does? Well, we'll try, but this is only a 30-second spot, so we're going to have to hurry. Connect to your Seller Central account and pull all the new orders. Enter the orders with all customer data. Enter all of the Amazon fees and charges. Store them at the item level. Generate profit and loss reports at the SKU level. Automatically generate income statements. Handle multiple companies. Handle multiple brands. Handle multiple currencies. Facilitate budgets and forecasts. Store all customer interactions in a sophisticated CRM system. Manage your supply chain. Project and task management. Maintain an audit log. Hey, you get it. That's Parsimony, PARSIMONY.com. Parsimony.com. We've got that.
It's always fun to hang out and talk with Achilles. As you've heard, his experience and his influences, both from the family and the school and his own, kind of maybe rebellious nature to say, in some ways, if my dad wants me to do this, maybe I should, consider doing something else. Yet at the same time, between yesterday and today, you learned that, he probably assumed that he was going to do the same thing that his dad was doing and end up selling insurance at MetLife or whatever. He knew he liked sales, so that part was compatible, but he also realized that, going through the interview process and then having a potential to go to the workshop, it just wasn't for him, and he wanted to take that plunge, that entrepreneurial leap of faith. And I'm sure glad he did, because I can imagine if he was in Greece selling insurance at MetLife, I don't know how he would have ever met him. I had the very good fortune to be introduced to Achilles and his partner Constantine last year sometime, maybe late last year of 2017. And from a mutual friend, and they said, these guys are brilliant. You got to talk to them, Steve. They're amazing. And they were not overselling. They indeed are quite brilliant and very inspiring and doing very, very important work as well. So I really am a big fan of what they're doing, and Achilles is so generous with his time to share his story. I hope you're enjoying this. Now, again, this is part 2 of a 3-part series. The part 3 will land tomorrow, so don't forget to tune in for that. And also don't forget that, since we made this pivot to shorter episodes, that you can crack out an episode every single day without it cramping your style. Just give me a quarter a day, just a quarter hour a day, maybe a little bit more. I think the episodes are averaging now somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes. Instead of before, we were producing an hour of content a day that honestly was too much for most of you to consume. We could see in the stats that, the more content we release, the farther behind you would get because you just couldn't keep up. So we hope that this pivot into shorter episodes, but keeping the frequency high, is something that is good for you and something that ultimately you appreciate. And don't hesitate to give us that feedback, positive or negative, by the way, at awesomers.com/contact. Tell us how we're doing. If we suck, lay it out. Tell us why. I will go cry in the shower for an hour after that. Oh God, I don't know if I can handle it. Nope, I can't handle it. You can leave me whatever feedback you wish. Our producers and helpers will get that information to me. And no matter what it says, I appreciate the effort and energy you put into listening, and indeed you put into responding. So thank you again, everybody. And don't forget to get out there, subscribe, share, and leave a review if you don't mind. Well, we've done it again, everybody. We have another episode of the Awesomers podcast ready for the world. Thank you for joining us, and we hope that you've enjoyed our program today. Now's a good time to take a moment to subscribe, like, and share this podcast. Heck, you could even leave a review if you wanted. Awesomers around you will appreciate your help. It's only with your participation and sharing that we'll be able to achieve our goals. Our success is literally in your hands. Thank you again for joining us. We are at your service. Find out more about me, Steve Simonson, our guests, team, and all the other Awesomers involved at awesomers.com. Thank you again.